Well, first of all, thank you, Vardan, for having me to join the show. I'm really happy to be here. As a small correction, so I'm half the time in Belgium and half the time in Armenia, and I
Oh,
come once a year now. It used to be more often, but I come once a year to visit my family in New York, because my
good.
mother and sisters are here. I had the presentation yesterday at the AGBU office. There were about 30 people there. And there's it's a short presentation, but I'll give it to you in a nutshell. The thing is, it's good to have a visual. So for your listeners, I would say imagine a gallon of water, the jug, a gallon of water. And of course, the question is a gallon of petrol that you put in your car. And this is what triggered this whole thing. So I had to struggle a little bit with the gallons and ounces and pounds and whatever. But just in short, a gallon of water weighs 8 pounds 25. A gallon of petrol is lighter, is 6 pounds. It's 6 pound 30 because petrol is lighter than water. So that's 100 ounces. And the question is, everybody's talking about, the effect of global warming, the CO2 and all that, but nobody knows, in fact, that gallon of fuel, when you're using it in your car, in your plane, in the heating, whatever, how much CO2 it actually emits. And I usually have this gallon of fuel in front of people's eyes so they can visualize and I ask them, so how much CO2 comes out of it after you burn it in your car? So it weighs 100 ounces. And of course, nobody knows the answer. And this is also interesting that nobody knows the answer. The answer is because it's being kept a little bit in the dark. I mean, you keep it under the rug. You don't want people to know. Uh, the answer is, and most people think, well, about 10%, let's say 10 ounces, 15 ounces. Sometimes you hear 2 ounces. The answer is 300 ounces
Oh,
of CO2. And like your reaction, and I suspect many people are saying, what? It weighs 100 ounces and it creates 300 ounces of CO2? How's that even possible? So who who's going to take care of that? And all of a sudden an image came to my mind. If you invite me to a dinner to your place and I come to your dinner, but I come with my bag of trash. I mean, we don't do that. I don't come with my bag of trash, go to your place, have lovely dinner, go back, leave your house and say, you'll take care of my trash, right? But this is what we're doing on the planet. All of us, we're going to leave the planet sooner or later. And we're actually leaving our trash for others and usually the young generation. And I thought this is fundamentally unethical. It's not correct. It's not right that we should do this for others. You've destroyed. Okay. We did not know, but now that we know, we must do something about it. Forest. And I discovered the world of forest. It's a little bit when you start discovering it, it's like Alice in Wonderland. You pass through the mirror and you see what's happening on the other side, and you discover a world that, frankly, I didn't. I mean, of course, yeah, I knew what forests are. I've been to forests, but I didn't realize how important it is for human life on the planet to have forests. To make a long story short, without forest, we can't survive.
mhm.
The future of mankind is doomed if we don't have forests. I'll give, for example, one example, which I like, is according to an FAO study, 75% of the world drinking water comes from forests. And this is particularly true in Armenia. And Armenia has a particularly delicate situation. I met the prime minister 2 years ago, and I told him this is a question of national security. Our neighbors are not going to give us water. We don't have access to the sea, so we can't desalinate. If we want people to live in Armenia 100 years from now and later, they will need water. Hence, they will need forests. And because it's such a long-term project, planting forests is something you will see the result after 20, 30 years, but you will see the benefits after 50 or 100 years. Then the forest starts becoming active and can start to let's say exercise its wonderful effects and its miraculous effects for the people living around them. So creating forests is particularly important, and that's why I started
Andre,
doing work.
Andre, what you were talking about is really amazing because everything you are saying has to do with the future generation. You're trying to leave something to to the new generation, to the future generation. As we all know throughout the world, not only in Armenia, we have polluted the globe. We have destroyed the globe, maybe in whatever ways we know we can, without realizing this. Are
Exactly.
we doing, is it too little, too late? And how can you stop many of the loggings that takes place in forests in Armenia, illegal logging, whether it's in Amazon, whether it's in Armenia, we have the same problems. And could you give us an idea how difficult it is? And have other people tried what you are trying here? And what kind of a support do you have from government?
Okay, these are all you. It's
Yes,
a,
yes.
a very long. Again, it will prompt a very long answer, but it's okay. It has three aspects in it. Um, the first, I will start in reverse order about the government. Well, frankly speaking, the government is supportive in a way, in words, and you get a tap in the back and whatever. But in practical terms, first of all, we don't get a penny from the
Mm,
government, that's for sure. And the second aspect that's particularly difficult and frustrating in Armenia is that the legislation and the regulatory environment is very complicated.
mhm,
It is before you have permits and that allows you to do what to do. You have and it's complex and it's also a lot of time unclear or even contradictory. According to certain rules, you can do something. According to other rules, you cannot do those things. So you're really navigating a very complex environment. And the thing is, they are aware in Armenia, they are aware that there are problems and that the forest code need to be changed and all that. But the problem is, it's not like you have somebody in charge and you say, okay, here we go, we change. And this is the nature also, unfortunately, of civil servants, but maybe civil servants everywhere in the world. I mean, civil servants, they don't like when things change too much. You keep a low profile, you want to hang on to your job, and you're not there to rock the boat, let's say, manner of speaking, but the boat needs to be rocked, and we
mhm,
need to have regulations in place that more actively encourages the protection of force and the extension of force. So this is the situation regarding the government, but in general, let's say they're not they're not blocking. On top of that, there are other issues. Is that there is a competition from the land from mining companies. Mining
mhm.
companies also want to explore for gold, and so we are trying to explain the importance of forest, and then they do understand, but mining company would come with very, let's say, convincing arguments, quote unquote, if you understand what I mean. And that sways, of course, the minds some of the public officials who could be tempted by having uh, immediate rewards rather than thinking about the long term.
Mhm.
And it's very important also to know and to say that, and as you understood, I'm not interested in Armenia's future in 5 years or in 10 years. I'm interested in Armenia's future in 100 years.
Yeah.
This is the real motivation. And I think for us diasporan Armenians, I think this is also very important because we keep, I read books and we see what happened 100 years ago and said, why didn't we do this? And why didn't we do that 100 years ago? Well, I think I don't want people to say 100 years from now, why didn't we plant more forests? What were the people thinking of? So that's a little bit the motivation, I think, and for us, and actually the conference was at the AGBU, and I'm hoping that the AGBU will also understand the importance of doing that. That they don't need to devote enormous sums of money, but they need to realize that this is about the future, the very long-term future, and I think you need to start preparing for it now. I don't know if you heard when I was in Armenia last week, well, it was all of a sudden in the news that Tehran is running out of water. The
Mhm.
reservoir is empty, and it was showing images on TV that usually at this time of the year, it was end of November, beginning of December, all the mountain tops are white with snow. As we know, there's less snow. We see it here also, and the mountains were all without snow cover, so the reservoirs had run dry. They're talking of evacuating Tehran, a city of 10 million people. And you think now, where are these people going to go? What's going to happen? So it's all of that factor together to people should understand that we are utterly and totally dependent on nature, and in particular forests. Forests play a very important role, and it should be the role of every citizen to say, to demand from their government, I want you to protect forests, and I want you to create more forests if it's possible. Now,
Uh,
let's go back
Andre,
to,
let me
sure,
just jump in
sure,
because
no problem.
what you said is really reminding me of a church service we have. Church service.
Yes.
It's called
Go ahead.
Chur Ortek. Chur Ortek. We bless the water.
Ajo, čurortnek, ajo,
And
čur.
basically, the message there is where there is no water, there is no life.
Absolutely.
That's a very important thing. My question to you really is when you speak about uh, bringing back the forests, how many acres, how many hectares, what are we talking about? Give us an
Okay.
idea.
Very good question. Armenia's forest coverage officially, but unfortunately, the official figure dates from 1988. There hasn't been a real inventory done since.
Mhm.
Is 11.2%. That's a figure from 1988, so before the independence. The figures people say it's between 7 and 9%, but we think, I mean, we're among foresters, so we think that the forest coverage in Armenia is now 10%. So
10%.
there was, of course, still is a lot of illegal logging. There was a lot of logging, of course, at the independence when the country didn't have any energy at all. The Metsamor
Mhm.
nuclear power plant was closed for security reasons, and there was no gas. So the first 4 years of the Republic, people were literally freezing in their apartments, and so there was a lot of illegal tree cutting so that people could be warm. But I don't want to overstate the effect of that. Sure, there were a lot of trees cut, and sure, it created a lot of damages. But in terms of percentage, it's still not a huge percentage.
Mhm.
The good thing is that the fact that we are present is that it pushes all the other actors in the field, and I'm thinking of our colleagues. We have a good understanding. ATP, Armenia Tree Project, was founded in '94, and all hats to them and to Karlin Mugar, who did that just with the country
Yeah.
going, just leaving the war in 94 and did a lot of tree planting. But they have three activities. It's mostly it's community planting, which means planting around schools, around square yards, around banks, which is very important. They also have an education department, and they've started with the Haranding Forest in 2007. They started a forestry department. We do only forestry.
Mhm.
We because why we do, although planting any tree is good, because when you put millions of trees together, they start acting as an organism and their effect is multiplied. So it's much more effective to have, huge areas being planted with millions of trees rather than having many small forests, because the size
Mhm.
is important in this case.
Give us an idea of the organization, the people who work with you. How many are from the diaspora, like experts in their fields? How many are farmers, laborers in from Armenia? And give us an idea of how difficult it is. This is not, let's go and plant a tree and get it over with. It's a process that takes a while to have a tree grow. It's a generation.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, to tell you the truth, I'm the only one from the diaspora.
Really?
I'm yeah, I'm the founder and the director of the organization. All the others are locals, but I have a great team. By the way, I hired a young woman. She's our deputy director, and she, like a year after we started, and she told me, Andre, how did you succeed in having such a great team?
Uh-huh.
Well, I said they were good, and maybe I was lucky, but I really have a great team and really nice people, really knowledgeable.
Mm,
They're all of them, and they're all of them convinced of what they're doing is good and right and good for the long term of the country. And as forester, it's important also to be realistic. We don't have any pipe dreams. And so we're about in the office, we're 10 people in Yerevan. We're six people in Vanadzor. That's where we have our flagship nursery,
mm.
and that they're around the year. And we have about 26 workers who are hired from March till November, when the vegetation period is there. So they work constantly to maintain the plant. So we have this a team of about 42 people, and in during planting time, during planting seasons, we hire up to 200 workers.
Oh,
Last time was about 140 workers,
whoa.
uh, and they're divided in brigades, and then they come on the land and they start planting.
Andre, Askain Vokit Skalie. I can feel that spirit. Do you want to contribute to Armenia and the well-being of the next generation? I guess every Armenian wants to do something.
Yeah.
In closing, what is your message to people watching this video? And if people want to support, where do they go? Does it work?
Okay, very good. But thank you for asking the question, Varta. So, in closing, so we have a 501(c)(3) organization
Mhm.
in the US. So all donations are tax deductible. So you go to our website, which is myforestarmenia.org. So it's very simple. You go there, you go to the donate page, you choose your country. Obviously, in the US, you choose the US, and then you can make a donation. I would recommend people to do monthly donations. This
Mm.
is very helpful for us because it gives a steady source of income, which allows us to pay the people every month. And it has even more reason to do monthly donation because all of us we're contributing every day, every month to destroy the planet. On average, know that the average is in the US is 20 ton per person. But 20 ton per person, this is an average. It means that there are a lot of people who never take a plane and who have very, let's say low carbon footprint. For those of us who are listening who take planes regularly or once a month or whatever, their figure is going to be 50 to 100 tons per year. That means they need to plant, you need to plant on average 10 trees per 1 ton. And mind you, these trees you plant will not offset the carbon right away. It will offset after 25 years. So even though you're planting your 500 trees in 1 year, the effect of it will be fully felt after 25 years. So it's not, I mean, okay, it's a long time, but at least the person has done something. So my recommendation is, instead of paying the 500 or the 1,000 trees in one go, make a monthly contribution by planting 30, 40, or 50 trees. It costs, our trees is $3 a tree, and it covers everything. It covers all the expenses, the planting, growing the seedling. By the way, it's important to say that everything is done locally. We don't buy the seedlings or saplings. We collect the seeds in the Armenian forests and we plant them in our nurseries. And after 1 year of taking care of the young seedlings coming out of the ground, after 1 year or sometimes 2 years, we go and plant them in the forest areas. And after that, we will do maintenance to remove the grass. So all of that for $3 a tree. And I would recommend people to do, well, they can start at 10, 20, whatever you feel is right for you. But I would say between 10 and 50 trees per month. And that would really help us a lot. And you participate in contributing to, the improvement of the environment in Armenia. Now, you will see on our website, we also have some projects. And this year, I did want to say one word on the Charles Aznavour forest. As you know, Charles Aznavour had done immense benefits for Armenia, starting with the earthquake, which happened actually a few days ago, 7 December 1988 was the anniversary. And he did a lot for Armenia. So we decided, let's do a project, a common project, and create the Charles Aznavour forest. So those listeners who are interested can also have their name on the forest signboard that we will put. And we have 3 levels of 3 categories, let's say, of support. You can be a supporter with 2,500 trees. And by the way, for these large projects, you benefit from a let's say a discount or from a lower group price, and it's $2. So for 2,500 trees, it's only $5,000. But you can also do 5,000 or 10,000, and you have your name and your company logo on the forest signboard, and we hope that many people participate. And I do want to add that the Aznavour Foundation was very excited about the project. Nicolas Aznavour, the son of Charles Aznavour, was super enthusiastic and donated 14,000 trees for this project to start. And so if some want to participate, they can participate in this project. And I would really appreciate a lot.
This has been a very, very interesting interview, and it's all for the future generation, and it's all Aznavour. Since you brought up Aznavour, pour toi Arménie. This is all for this interview should go in a series, like Netflix.
Really?
Because there's so much to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about. Yeah.
It's very, very difficult. We'll be talking to you. Thank you.
Okay, bye, Vartan. Thank you. Bye-bye.